Right, we're going to move on to our final session of the day. And in this session, we're going to look at how we make the transition to producing food sustainably. There are lots of challenges, lots of problems. We're not so interested in the problems, we're interested in the solutions and in implementation. So with that in mind, we've got 4 speakers representing different interest groups from the NGO, the private sector, and 2 policymakers. I'm going to introduce the first 3 speakers, but in fact they will sit here and then we're going to have a short talk first from Mr. Jyrki Kaitanen, Vice President of the European Commission, responsible for jobs, growth, investment and competitiveness. And he's a former Prime Minister of Finland. And unfortunately, Mr. Kaitanen won't be able to stay for our discussion. He has to leave immediately. But if I could have the first 3 speakers on as well.
I'm the first one.
You're the first one. Why not speak and then I'll have the others on?
Fine.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Sorry for trying this well-written setup, but...
it's only in terms of your time. If you have time, I'll bring
very good.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me first thank organizers for putting together such an impressive program, which is gathering together a huge amount of stakeholders to address a global challenge, which can be a positive challenge, but also obviously the one which is in which we cannot find easy solutions to have sustainable food chain solutions. When talking about food production and agriculture, we are talking about an area which is providing high quality food, environmental, public goods, and we are talking about policy which is maintaining vitality of rural area. And in Europe, and my focus this time will be in Europe, agriculture is a source of trade. Agricultural policy, common agricultural policy in Europe has created 19 billion trade surplus, which means a lot of jobs for Europeans. At the moment, we are in a situation where we have to reinvent European integration and European Union again. One of our members are about to leave us, and it means that the new EU 27 is born. And new EU 27 needs a direction, content and commitment. Obviously, the future of common agricultural policy is one of the areas in which we need new direction. That is the reason why Commission and Commissioner Hogan declared that 2017 a year of reflection on the future of CAP that will result in a communication on CAP modernization and simplification later this year. And I'm sure that in this room there are lots of stakeholders who want to contribute to this process. Examining and developing the sustainability and competitiveness of the sector from the usual CAP perspective is naturally very important, as it is heavy core of our policy. However, before I say a few words about innovation, I would like to highlight some of the things we have done on circular economy. A phenomenon I believe will be one of the global future megatrends. To you who deal a lot with biodegradable materials, the circular thinking itself might be nothing new. However, I would like to use this opportunity to invite you to develop with us the new circular economy business models of the future, which would also increase the competitiveness of common agricultural policy and agriculture sector and the food supply chain as a whole. Your sectors is by no means in the sidelines when it comes to developing circular economy. Agriculture plays an important role in the circular economy, as it supplies recyclable raw materials to our economy and offers a great platform for efficient use of resources. The CAP and Horizon 2020 encourage further the development of the circular economy in the agriculture sector. Agriculture that delivers on the sustainable development goals ensures a more resilient agriculture system based on healthy ecosystems and a production system that integrates innovation and more value across the whole chain, from primary production until final production and consumers. This creates economic benefit for different actors in the chain, as well as jobs and sustainable growth opportunities in rural area. The Circular Economy Action Plan adopted in 2015 includes several actions relevant for agriculture and the food industry. In particular, actions related to food waste, water reuse and fertilizers. With regard to food waste, the Commission established in August 2016 a platform dedicated for food waste prevention, involving both member states and actors in the food chain. On water reuse, the Commission is preparing a legislative proposal on minimum requirements for the reuse of treated wastewater, notably in irrigation and recharge of underground water tables. As far as investments are concerned, the Commission supports the development of new financial instruments to help farmers transition to circular economy. An example could be, for example, an investment platform under European Fund for Strategic Investment, dedicated to water and agriculture-related projects. The Commission also proposed a revision to the fertilizers regulation, currently discussed in the European Parliament and the Council. I must say that on this we were slightly disappointed by the reactions of the co-legislators, as the revision aims to create a level playing field for all fertilizing products, including the organic and waste-based ones. We want to see this as a chance and opportunity for innovative farmers, not a threat, by no means. We see the proposal not only as a possibility to improve the sustainability of the sector, but also its competitiveness. In addition, as indicated in the Circular Economy Action Plan, the Commission will mainstream circular economy principles into EU bioeconomy strategy. The CAP, notably its rural development stand, already supports bioeconomy in the current programming period. It aims for the supply and use of renewable sources of energy, of byproducts, waste and residues, and other non-food raw material for the purposes of bioeconomy. The indicative public expenditure for this focus area is almost 1.3 billion euros. Now let me move to research and innovation. Research and innovation are essential for sustainable farming systems, delivering healthy and nutritious food while protecting the environment. Sustainable development goals and the Paris Climate Agreement's commitments can only be met with significant investment into research and innovation. The EU doubled investments in research and innovation on food and agriculture in 2014 and 2020, in comparison to the previous period. This includes about 1.5 billion euros on agriculture research, doubling the amount of innovation invested under the CAP. Funding notably goes to resource management, second, plant and animal health, and third, rethinking farming systems. Resilience, adaptation to climate change and its mitigation are key words here, as well as circularity and digitalization. Investments in research are also crucial for creating new innovations in food systems and sustainable supply chains. To deliver growth and create jobs in the agri-food sector, these all are necessary. Reinforcing producer-consumer relationship can strengthen farmers' position in the value chain. This is important to foster a competitive and sustainable primary production. I would like to highlight that as on every sector of our society, digital technologies hold enormous potential also for the agricultural sector and the food chain as a whole. We must make best use of our policies to tap this potential. In addition, new circular economy business models offer great potential for innovations. Global biorefinery product markets are expected to grow at 13% annually, and up to 300 biorefineries could be built in Europe by 2030 to meet growing demand. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, all the development and new innovation must somehow be funded. As just now I invited you to look things from a new perspective regarding the circular economy, I would like to do the same when it comes to funding. Not only will we have to be more efficient when it comes to use of our natural resources, but we also must be efficient in our spending. To activate private investors and to offer new investment possibilities for projects along the side of the traditional ones, the Commission has developed as part of the investment plan the European Fund for Strategic Investment. European Fund for Strategic Investment is an initiative launched jointly by European Commission, European Investment Bank and European Investment Fund to help to overcome the investment gap in the EU by mobilizing private financing for strategic investment. As we continuously work on further developing the plan, the environmental and resource efficiency uptake of the fund has been disappointing in the first year. Less than 4% is the result of the first year. We have to find ways to stimulate the agri-food chain by private sector. Increasing FFA uptake can be a tremendous business opportunity in bridging the agri-food chain investment gap. Focus should be on the scaling up to market-creating innovations, boosting public and private sector investment, and funding smart technologies and research breakthroughs. The proposed continuation of the European Fund for Strategic Investment holds significant potential also for the agriculture and food economy. This is why agriculture, fishery and aquaculture will now appear explicitly under the general objectives of EFSI. Ladies and gentlemen, as I have now described, the sustainable food chain is a combination of constant interplay of several moving factors. As the great scale poses a challenge to us, we must not be overwhelmed but to keep our minds open when seeking ways to modernize our policy and making it more market-oriented. With the points I just made, I wanted to paint a picture of some of the possibilities and solutions we have at hand, from trade to innovation and investment. I'm fully aware of the challenges of the sector is facing, but confident that by working together to capitalize our opportunities, the future of agriculture will be fruitful. Thank you very much.